1 minute till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome into it. Happy Monday. Setting that tone, baby. We got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a huge and bigly show. Get ready for it. We got plenty to talk about between the East Coast, the snowstorm, the State of the Union tomorrow, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, Charles Goyette will be on the program, author of the book Empire of Lies is the book. We'll chat with him about Iran and the conflict in the Middle East and what the heck's going on. So make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing today for a Monday. Setting that tone. Hang tight.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Monday, greatest day of the entire week. We are setting that tone. Got a carpe diem all over this place. We have so much to get to, so much to talk about, so much happening this week, which I am super excited about. So strap in, buckle up, and let's get ready, right? That Monday is lingering, and Monday may be done for you, in which case, congratulations, you got the hardest day done out of the entire week. As usual, welcome into the show. It is The Voice of Reason. My name's Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas, at our flagship radio station, and we are all over the country doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the show. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Mine was wonderful. We do this every year, and I don't remember if I've told you this or not. So during Lent, we're not Catholic, just to be aware, we're not Catholic, but, you know, the whole 40 days of sacrificing something, giving something up, kind of like Jesus wandering in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, that sort of thing. You know, we always sacrifice as a family. We do something where we make sure, because we sometimes get in a bad habit of doing it, but we sit at the table during dinner time at nighttime. We don't turn on the TV at all, like no screen time. When I get home, unless it's an emergency for work or the radio station, I put my cell phone down. We don't watch TV. We usually have the candles lit. We read a book. We pray. We meditate. We do whatever. And we do it as a family. And we do it for the next 40 days. I like to keep it going. It's very difficult to do. But tomorrow night, obviously, State of the Union, we'll turn on the TV to watch that one. But I'd set my phone away. I turn off the TV, and we just do our thing. The weekend, however, we do indulge just a little bit. It was a great weekend. By the way, congratulations to the U.S. hockey team for that one. So, well done on there. I didn't watch it, but I did not watch the U.S. hockey team, although and again, not a big sports guy. I guess hockey's one of the last good masculine, manly sports out there when you can fight each other, ram each other into a wall, beat the crap out of each other. It's kind of entertaining, and I really enjoyed it when Justin Trudeau and Canada was like, this is our sport, and this is our country, and we're going to dominate, and we just go in and kick their butt. So congratulations there. The call from President Donald Trump was epic. I saw Kash Patel, the FBI director, downing a beer, like shotgunning a beer in the locker room with them. That was kind of cool, kind of neat. Shows that, you know what, we're just an administration of the people, by the people, for the people, right? That's what I'm going for. So congratulations to those guys, and just rummeting it in with the nation of Canada. You know, if they were the 51st state of the nation, then we could have been celebrating too, right? go with that one. No, I didn't watch it. I really did. I don't care about the Olympics, but entertaining there. I was actually watching the UFC fight Saturday night. That was great. Sean Strickland kicked some butt on that one. Some really great fights. And Little Voice of Reason, man, she's getting into those. She really does. I was finishing up my national broadcast on Saturday afternoon, and they were doing the preliminary fights early. So I told her, I said, watch them for me. Tell me what happens, and as soon as I'm done with my radio show, and we'll jump up and have. Now it's tradition. Now that they're on Paramount Plus, you don't have to buy them pay-per-view. You can just watch them in general, just if you have your basic subscription with Paramount Plus. So it's weekend family fight night every Saturday night. And I told Little Voice of Reason, I said, watch the fight for me. Tell me what happens. I'll be up as soon as I can. So I go up, and she goes, Dad. I'm like, what? Dad. These two women were fighting. One picked the other up. Threw her on the mat. She landed on her shoulder. That one that threw her landed on top of her on her shoulder, and her shoulder snapped in half. She shattered her shoulder. And I was like, whoa, yeah, pretty exciting. So my daughter's getting into it, and she's like the girliest girl. She does volleyball, and she does ballet and cheerleading. But she is like the girly girl. Her entire bedroom is pink. She loves used to love her Barbie dolls. Like, she is the girl, and now she's like, Dad, you need to watch this. So it was really exciting. Family fight night. Really cool. UFC fights are always exciting. All right, bottom of the hour. We have Charles Goyette on the program. He is the author of the book Empire of Lies. We're going to talk about Iran. We'll chat about what's going on in the Middle East. Will we be getting militarily involved? And who's behind it? What kind of deep state's playing to try and create this conflict? Is it Iran themselves? Is it a player behind the scenes? And what's the future of our relationship with the Middle East and even Israel as they continue to try and advocate for some type of military presence in Iran? So we'll get to that coming up at the bottom of the hour. If you are on the East Coast, we are thinking of you with all the snow. Lucky butts. I really want some snow over here in the central portion of the country, but apparently that's not going to happen. And you're getting feet upon feet of snow on the East Coast, and even leading to, well, the communists doing communist things, right?
What's trending today?
Got to go to New York City for just a moment. If you remember at the end of last week, was it over the weekend? We chatted about it on the syndicated program on Saturday. Zohran Mamdani with the proposed budget of $10 billion above even the entire state of Florida's overall budget, advocating for DEI projects, cutting law enforcement. Apparently he works on the social programs, but for actual functions of the city, kind of lacking a little bit, because he thinks that's where, comrades, we're calling upon you. So if you're living in New York City, in New York State, you're listening to this podcast, we are calling upon all the comrades of New York to go and volunteer for snow shoveling because, well, we don't have enough city officials to do that. Now, again, I want to preface this again. This is coming from an administration in New York that is focusing on DEI, free bus rides, free grocery stores, all the nice little socialist perks that they're getting there. But, you know, when services, basic services, picking up trash and making sure your utilities are working and making sure your streets are shoveled and making sure your roads are plowed, those things, the basic things of what government's supposed to be doing, comrades, you just need to get together as a nice little commune and do it together, right?
And for those who want to do more to help your neighbors and earn some extra cash, you too can become an emergency snow shoveler.
An emergency
show up at your
snow
local
shoveler.
sanitation garage between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow with your paperwork, which is accessible online at nyc.gov/snow. And you can get started right away.
You can get started. I love it. You can get started right away. Now, I'm sure you've heard the news, but apparently he's getting some backlash because if you go to the website at nyc.gov or whatever /snow, then you have to submit your forms of identification, which I find kind of interesting for a guy who said they're not going to impose voter ID laws in any fashion, that they're trying to hype up and support the illegal migration population there because the city's for everybody, so you shouldn't have to verify who you are, that he's getting backlash that you have to submit your photo ID and personal identification information to plow snow, but you don't have to vote.
Say what?
So he responded to that today during a press conference, trying to calm things down, and said this.
Federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for their work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. This is all long-standing. This is a long-standing program and long-standing requirements, and this is a way that New Yorkers get paid to shovel snow in assistance with the city's response to a winter storm event. These are the policies that we've had in place, but I understand that for many it's the first time that they've ever heard about it.
Okay, so he's trying to, well, I'm sure that this might be the first time some people have actually heard about this. We've had this program for a long time, but it's a federal program. That's why we're mandating the voter ID. We can't just cut you a check. You know, you got to actually provide your identification, got to provide your information. We got to put you in the, the roles here so we can actually pay you as a part-time employee to shovel snow across the city. Like, it's a federal program. That makes sense, right? Unlike voter ID, which is, oh, that's right. That's right. Unlike what he tries to say as well, that you being a U.S. citizen and abiding by the jurisdiction of the rule of law, also a federal mandate, a constitutional mandate for the one reason, or the two, I guess two reasons, you have to follow the jurisdiction of and you're a U.S. citizen. The two laws, the two requirements for you to be able to vote, and you have to verify those as well. So, bad for voter ID, that's racist, that's Jim Crow Laws 2.0, but in order for you to get paid from the city, you got to put in that personal information for the city. What a joke, man. I mean, what a joke. These guys are desperate to try and clear up clear up their mistakes. They make these gaffes, and then they have to try and play damage control. Which, by the way, I was not aware of. Apparently, today the report came out telling people that if you are elderly or have some type of issue or do not exercise regularly, to not shovel snow, because they say that it's the number one cause of heart attacks in the nation by people shoveling snow. I was not aware of that stat. That's kind of interesting to me, and I think that is absolutely pathetic. I know I may upset some people, I may offend some people, I don't know. That, to me, if we're having the number one rate of heart attacks based on people shoveling snow, we have a serious health problem in this nation. If we can't lift snow, which I get it, especially on the East Coast, it's heavy, it's wet. I grew up in Ohio, I understand that, but come on, man. If that's the number one leading cause of heart attacks for certain demographics or whatever, we have a serious problem, and just reinforces the idea for the Maha movement for us to get back on track and exercise a little bit. If we can't shovel the own snow out of our own area, then we have serious problems, right? Yeah, absolutely crazy.
What's trending today?
Speaking of damage control, by the way, Zoran Mamdani trying to do damage control for the identification requirements for snow shoveling. We also have the damage control being done by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, our favorite person here on the program.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
Because just this past week at the Munich Security Conference, when she was stuttering all over herself, literally, we played the clip for a 25-second period of her not knowing what to say when asked about Iran and whether that would be involved, or whether China or whatever, that she stuttered for 25 seconds in total before she actually came up with an answer of, well, we'll try and prevent China from invading Taiwan. She's trying to do damage control herself as well, because she realizes that the more she gets forced into the global stage, which is what she wants, by the way, but the more she's turning into Kamala Harris, the stuttering bamboo, the bumbling Joe Biden. Like, this is the Democrat Party, and the leaders of the Democrat Party, they can't do anything unless it's absolutely scripted, or they get the free leash to say whatever they want to on the radicalism that they're advocating for. So on the global stage, looking at like an absolute fool, she's now in damage control by responding to that through some type of social media video, and then said this.
Don't understand if you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs.
Okay, hold on. First off, you're going to hear a noise in the background. I believe it is her dog that is snoring in the background, which is hilarious. I'm nothing against her on there, and she's whispering because I think she has a throat issue or a sinus issue or a cold or whatever. I don't care, but that's it. It's not me. It's that's in the video. It's a dog snoring next to her.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth. I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks and doesn't care about the implications of his words before he speaks on matters like these. And in fact, if you actually look at what Trump said about this issue himself, he actually had the same, if not a worse, answer. So ask yourself, why do do you think the issues turn to that? And I'm going to tell you, it's because, frankly, there are very few people who are actually willing to challenge the foreign policy establishment that continues to send people to war and bankrupt.
Okay, all right. So AOC trying to justify her lack of response, her stuttering all over the place, her 25 seconds of uhs and ums, not knowing what to say here, and then saying, well, if you've studied it with the many hours that I have as well, then you would understand that it's a very complex situation and that Donald Trump said the same thing. But if you have a problem with mine, then you should have a problem with Donald Trump. In other words, like typical Democrats, it's not me, it's you. I'm smarter. I was thinking about the proper, intelligent way to respond to this answer. And if you have a problem with that, but you don't have a problem with Donald Trump and the way he speaks, then it's a you problem, not a me problem. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's going to be the best way to approach the voter by blaming them for your gaffes because you didn't know what to say when a question would ask you on a global stage that made you look really foolish. Could be wrong, but blaming the voter is probably not the best way to win them over. But again, Kamala Harris did the same thing, so I guess Kamala 2.0.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth,
Yeah.
I'm afraid the issue's not my understanding.
That's right. It's not me. It's you. It sounds like a drama TV show, a reality TV show for dating now, but it's AOC trying to justify the fact that she had a 25-second stuttering spasm when asked about the simple question, where would you stand and would you support Taiwan if China ends up invading Taiwan on a global scale? That should be an easy answer. Yeah, we would support our ally. They're an ally, and we would try to de-escalate the situation. We're going to do what we can to do preventative measure, period, end of story. But God forbid that actually happened. We got to stand with our friends of Taiwan. That's what we have to do. Pure, end of story, simple, boom, done, right? That's over. But 25 seconds of stuttering and bumbling all over the place, man. It sounded like she had no clue what she was doing, and it's really unfortunate that those are the type of leaders that we actually have, and someone who's openly admitted geopolitics and foreign policy is not her strong suit. We'll get back to that in just a minute. I want to tell you about my friends over at Lean. Everyone's talking about weight loss injections because the results have been really dramatic, and they work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. What if you're looking for weight loss but not interested in the painful weekly injection or some of the intense side effects that people are experiencing as well? That's why doctors created the weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're just not as hungry. But Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 pounds or more to lose, and we want to get you started right now. Order online, use our promo code, you'll get 20% off right out of the gate and free rush shipping. That way you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan, and you do that by going to our friends at TakeLean.com. TakeLean.com. Use the promo code REASON, REASON, for my listeners. That's promo code REASON at TakeLean.com. Get 20% off and free rush shipping. Do it right now. Let's do this journey together. As we talk about foreign policy, and I've been wanting to pay a lot of attention down to what's going on in Mexico right now, the civil war, the outlash of the cartels after the head of the cartel has been targeted and killed along with his son, and now we're seeing essentially a full-on civil war. This would not be possible, and I want to be very clear, for AOC, who thinks that Donald Trump is a weak talker, that he's not doing things right. Look, he has created 8 new peace agreements and 10 new trade deals in the United States in the past year. I would say that's pretty good foreign policy. It may not be, it may not be the focus that many Americans want. They want this America First agenda. They don't want to focus on foreign policy. They want kind of an isolationist mentality. That doesn't work. That's not realistic. We got to have foreign policy. We got to have strong allies. We got to have strong relationships. We got to have tariffs, or we have to have at least some type of good trade deal. But 10 different trade deals, 8 different peace agreements, I would say that's a pretty good start for a single year. Probably more productive, again, on foreign policy alone than most administrations in a 4-year term. Just throwing it out there. So now we have at the same time the Trump administration early on last year signing their executive order that deems cartels in our hemisphere as international terrorist organizations. And since then, what have we seen? We've seen the arresting of Nicolas Maduro, who was a terrorist, a cartel member that was shipping drugs into the United States, and he's on trial in New York as we speak. We have Cuba that's been threatening to, don't you touch us. And then what happened? They're out of power. They don't have any electricity. They don't have anything going on because we cut them off now. So they're struggling, and they're trying to figure out what to do. A potential regime change in Cuba and the end of communism there. We have the end of communism in Venezuela because Nicolas Maduro is not there. And now we have, after the deeming of these groups as terrorist organizations. We have cartels that are pushing back right now. We have the nation of Mexico that's trying to fight against them. And our thoughts and prayers to the Mexican government and the Mexican people right now. They're on the brink of something that's going to be very ugly for a while. But if they're able to rid themselves of these cartels, that is another win against corruption in our hemisphere because of President Donald Trump and his administration.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, truth, reason, common sense, rationale. It's what we do here on the program. Great to have you here from Monday, setting that tone, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand the millennial generation one radio listener at a time. Have no fear, the voice of reason is here. Yeah, by the way, we have some really exciting news. I cannot wait. So it should be happening maybe sometime this week. Next week, I'll be making a really, really big announcement regarding this program for the weekday show. Obviously, more affiliates jumping on our syndicated weekend show, but the weekday show as well, we're getting some more affiliates across the country too, which is really, really cool, super exciting. So stay tuned in for that. Cannot wait to announce it. For all the information on all of our affiliates and a heck of a lot more, go to our website at HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com, which, reminder for you, a week from today, our newsletter comes out, first Monday of every month. Go to there, sign up, become the latest Hoosier-holic, and you can do so absolutely for free. That newsletter will get to your email on Monday morning next week, the first Monday of every single month. All right, let's shift gears a little bit here.
What's trending today?
Foreign policy, obviously not the stronghold for our friend over Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
And after her 25-second of bumbling at the Munich Security Conference on whether she would defend our allies of Taiwan if China did something with them, and then she tried to do her backtracking, realizing that her presidential hopefuls in 2028 could be slipping away if she acts like that on the global stage again, would try to do some damage control. But as we look at the foreign policy right now, we look at what the heck's going on, especially in the Middle East. We have Iran still throwing a fit right now. Israel's trying to do something with them. We have a regime change potential in the nation of Iran. Where are we? What the heck are we doing? And what's at play right now as we go to our...
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
That's right. Super happy to have on the program. He is the author of the latest book, Empire of Lies, Fragments from the Memory Hole. Excited to have on here Charles Goyette. Charles, how are you, my friend?
Hey, great to talk to you, Andy. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, appreciate you jumping on here. There's plenty to talk about with this foreign policy right now, but it seems like Iran always seems to be the thorn in the side, right? And we can talk about the players at bay in just a minute, but I mean, we took out one of their big nuclear areas. They're still taunting us. They're still trying to do things with Israel. It never seems that they would just go away and want to play nice.
Well, I have to disagree with you. I think we've been the villain in this thing since 1953 when we overthrew their government.
Oh.
And we have targeted them ever since.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Do you know we toppled the elected government in Iran, the CIA did,
Yeah.
so that we could take their oil and give it to British Petroleum in 1953? And then we installed the Shah, who used secret intelligence training from the United States and elsewhere to learn how to torture his opponents,
No.
and he became a Stalin in his own country. It was part of the Cold War. We were going to put in the Shah because we wanted to oppose international communism. He ran the country like Stalin. It
Yeah.
was the worst. Freedom, the battle between the free world and the communist world, not on anybody's watch.
Yeah, it seems to be the same old story, unfortunately, with the Middle East, right? I mean, we toppled the regime in Iran. We toppled the regime in Afghanistan. We gave the arms, essentially, to Osama bin Laden back in the day when we were fighting Russia in the Cold War on that front. Like, we've done these things at that time thinking it was a good idea, and they've come back to bite us in the rear, by now.
Let me give you the worst one, the most recent one, and you're right to detail all of those. Every one of them has been a calamity, and there are reasons why they've been calamities. But let me tell you about the most recent one. Assad had to go. Now, nobody knew exactly why Assad had to go. He supported us in the Gulf War. He supported us in the Iraq War. Nobody knew why Assad had to go, but Assad had to go. Okay, so Assad had to go. We were treated to the spectacle. Now, this is really good if you're an arms merchant. We were funding, the Pentagon was supporting and funding jihadist militants in Syria that were fighting with jihadist militants in Syria that were funded by the CIA. We were funding both sides at your expense and my expense. So anyway, but to cut to the chase, we ended up toppling Assad. Oh, great. And who did we install? We installed a guy by the name of, they used to call him Jelani. And as Jelani, he was kind of an Al-Qaeda, bin Laden, sort of a Baghdadi terrorist, and had spent time in a prison in Iraq. The U.S. State Department, until last year, had a $10 million bounty on his head for his crimes and his terrorism and murders, a $10 million bounty that we were going to pay. Well, I guess that made reasonable sense. But guess who runs the country now, installed by us and our allies? The same guy. They've changed his name. Now his name is I can't even remember. Jelani. They changed it to Al Salami or something like that.
Yeah, right,
It's just
yeah.
crazy. But but Andy, what they did, one of my friends put it this way: said they put him in an Armani suit. They trimmed his beard. They gave him a $90,000 Swiss watch. And quicker than you could say Washington makeover, he became our guy.
Right.
And now he's been feted in the White House. And I'm looking at this. I know people. You know people. We have friends. We have family that sent their young men and women, their fathers and mothers, and sisters and brothers and cousins and children off to fight that war that went on forever in Iraq. All of those awful casualties on the American side. To fight these guys, these ISIS guys, these Al-Qaeda guys, these bin Ladenites. And who do we install to run Syria once we've toppled Assad? The very same guy we had a $10 million bounty on his head. What kind of sense does this make?
Yeah. No, that's a really great point. So essentially, most of the Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, some of the countries that we don't talk about much anymore that aren't in the headlines, is it safe to say that the majority of these nations are essentially the puppets of either the United States or Russia or China, these major power players in the world that are just using them as pawns to cause issues one way or the other?
Yeah, everybody wants a relationship with many of them, and so the alliances are really tricky, and sometimes they can be a little hard to find out. But there are countries that are dependent on petroleum from the Persian Gulf, so they make alliances. Not with any care for our interest, but with care for their own. They have their eye out for what is their own interest. And so you've got a constantly evolving chessboard of interests in the Middle East. And for the United States to think that we can, in the midst of our own troubles, I mean, we have $39 trillion in unpayable debt.
Yeah.
In the midst of our own troubles, think that we can go in there and micromanage everything, a spaghetti plate of little understood interests in a region of the world that we can actually live without, and do it at the American people's expense. It makes me wonder. And if you want to know, this is why the subtitle of my book is Fragments from the Memory Hole. Everybody remembers from their high school that they had to read 1984, probably by George Orwell.
Yes.
And in 1984, in that new dystopian world, the Ministry of Love is where they took people to torture them. I mean, everything's backwards, right? And the Ministry of Truth is where they went to rewrite history.
That's right.
So when they want to rewrite history, and then the old history, the old records of what actually happened, got incinerated. It got dropped down the memory hole and incinerated. And that's what we've got going on in the United States today. And so it's as though nobody remembers what we did last week, last month, last year, and we keep stepping in deeper and deeper and deeper in these things, and we don't have the money.
Yeah.
We can't service our national debt. We're dependent on creditors like China.
Yeah.
If you think about that, the United States has to borrow so much money just to keep the doors open and the lights on that it was only a couple of years ago. China was into us. We were into China. They had about $1.4 trillion of U.S. Treasury bonds. That's $1.4 trillion that China had loaned to us, and they held our bonds. They're getting out. They've cut that in half the last few years. So we're the biggest debtor in the world. We have to borrow more money now than ever. And now all these would-be and foreign investors that we've depended on are backing away. They don't want to buy our Treasury bonds. They don't want to lend money to us anymore. And they're all fleeing the U.S. dollar to gold.
It's absolutely insane. So who's at play now, do you think? And do you think the Trump administration is a little bit different from what we've seen in the past? And by that, I mean that the military-industrial complex, the CIA, the ones at bay that like these conflicts long-term, ongoing, like we saw with the 20-year war with George Bush and with all this other stuff that's been happening, Donald Trump doesn't do that. The last time we, attacked Iran, it was one night. We went over, blew up a nuclear site, and came back and said, we're done. He's created more peace deals than any other administration really in the past century. Who's at play then? Is it the deep state that doesn't want this peace? Is it really the Trump administration? But who's really doing this now?
You know, it's always the deep state, and the deep state is the organizing force, the organizing principle. I call it the executive arm of the global American empire, and they will do anything to grow the American empire at the expense of the American people. They will do anything to spread us out thinner and thinner all over the world to cash in on weapons deal and for all kinds of other motives. But yes, that is exactly right. It is the deep state, and people think, when you talk about the deep state, you just mean guys like Brennan and Clapper that lied to Congress, you know, the couple of ne'er-do-wells. And they think of Alan Dulles, who was at the CIA and was no doubt complicit some form in Kennedy's assassination. They think it's all these guys at the top, but it's not. And you may remember this. There were petty minor bureaucrats all the way down through the Washington hierarchies that are, you know, that balance great before the deep state and do its bidding without regard to the American people. And I'll give you one example you may remember, and I know you remember. Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, who was on the National Security Council in the Trump White House, and he is the guy responsible basically for the first Trump impeachment in the first term. Mm-hmm. And what was Lieutenant Colonel Vindman's concern? Well, he told Congress under oath, he said, well, Trump is defying, think about this, Trump is defying the consensus policy of the interagency. Mm. What the hell is an interagency? Where's that in the Constitution?
What does that mean? Yeah,
who gets to decide?
Who
gets to decide what the interagency? Who gets to vote with it? Who profits from it? What are the rules they have to abide by?
It's a great point.
Just absolute nonsense.
It's insane. Charles, hang on the line. We got to take a hard break here. Go check out his book, Empire of Lies: Fragments from the History, from the Memory Hole. Go check it out on Amazon, other places. We'll continue this when we come back after this.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever. Every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosier-holics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, common sense, reason, rationale. Welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a Monday as we move through this week. We got State of the Union tomorrow. What can you expect from that? We will break that down tomorrow on the program. Also, for those that like to listen on other programs, I will be filling in for the Todd Starnes radio program tomorrow and Wednesday, actually. So we get to do the pre and post State of the Union with the Todd Starnes radio show, the number 23 talk radio show in the country. So looking forward to that one. And, of course, our program here, which you'll be able to hear all of the condensed version of it with our 1 hours of excellence here on the Voice of Reason. All right. That being said, let's go back to it with our guest here. All right. Let's go back to our guest here, Charles Goyette, author of the book Empire of Lies, Fragments from the Memory Hole. You can find it on Amazon, other places. Great conversation as we talk foreign policy and the deep state. You know, Charles, the way you described a lot of this, in the deep state fighting against the administration, wanting these long-term wars, wanting this conflict that Trump's not doing, saying that he's breaking the institutional rules of what they've tried to create here. I don't know if, I'm sure you remember this, the old TV show 24. Greatest TV show. Yeah. I loved it. It was season 2 where, for those that don't know, Jack Bauer, counterterrorist unit, Jack Bauer was trying to prove to the president at that time, President David Palmer, that the attack, a terrorist attack that had happened, was done by government officials trying to create a false flag to start a war in the Middle East, and that the president was waiting on the intel that Jack Bauer was going to preside to him on whether they should actually invade and actually do an attack or not. It reminds me, like, we're following the script of Hollywood right now with what's going on, and it's kind of insane.
Art imitating life. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I could give you stories, and I know we don't have much time, but I mean, there are so many stories of what these people do. During the first Gulf War, the American people weren't crazy about the idea. You know, they didn't understand why Americans should go in and save Kuwaitis while the Kuwaiti royal family jetted off to Switzerland to go disco dancing, and that is what happened. Yeah. But we sent our sons and daughters and our brothers and sisters there anyway to save their country. So, but the American people weren't really behind it. So finally, somebody came up with, well, we'll rile the American people up by telling them that Saddam Hussein is about to steal their oil. They're just on the verge of rolling into Saudi Arabia, and we'll be thrown into a nightmare depression. We'll be thrown back 50 years in history, and so So the administration floated the story that there were something like 250,000 troops, Iraqi troops, on the border of Saudi Arabia ready to roll in. And there were, 15,000 tanks ready to roll in. So one little reporter in St. Petersburg, a woman named Jean, got her newspaper to spend $3,200 to rent the satellite time. And they flew the satellite over, and they did all the surveillance aerials on the satellite videos. They hired American veteran satellite imagery analysts, and they looked, and there were no soldiers on the border, and there were no tanks, and there were no tracks, and there were no logistical support, and there was none of it.
Wow.
Well, that's a pretty flimsy thing to do then, to tell the American people this is the reason we have to go in. But they wouldn't. When confronted with the evidence, they refused to respond.
Yeah. Well, of
so
course.
Who cooks these things up?
It's wild. It is really insane. They drop these little nuggets. They drop these breadcrumbs to try and lead us down this direction, and it's pretty insane. Charles, we got just about a minute left here, but I got to ask you, the people rising up in Iran, wanting this regime change, the women. I said the coolest picture I've ever seen, and I don't even think it was in Iran. I think it was a Canadian woman, but she was from there originally, in her like leather biker jacket, smoking, lighting a cigar from the picture of the Ayatollah out there, wanting this regime change, wanting to get back to normalcy and not the Islamist control. Is it going to happen? Are you optimistic that they could do it? Not the U.S. starting it and doing a long-term conflict, but the people themselves wanting to bring the freedom back they had back in the 50s and 60s. Can they do that?
I wish everybody on the face of the earth that wants to establish freedom and prosperity in their country, I wish them the very, very best. And anybody that wants to spend their money and go over and fight with them and put themselves on the front line, I wish them the very best too.
Yeah, it's a great point. We'll see. I know Donald Trump will probably mention it during the State of the Union tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully he is aware of the actors at bay behind the scenes wanting to create these, because they are losing their minds, and the military-industrial complex is losing a buttload of money without Donald Trump getting involved in long-term conflicts. We'll see what goes on from there. Go check out the book Empire of Lies, Fragments from the Memory Hole. You can find it on Amazon, other places as well. Charles, great conversation, my friend. We appreciate it so much. Keep rocking it. Let's get you back on the show again soon.
For sure, Andy. Thank you so much.
Hey, appreciate it very much. Again, Charles, we appreciate that. We will get him on the show. Great content. Love that. Puts a little perspective into what's going on over there as we get frustrated with all the news out of the Middle East, and it never seems to go away. But we need to be aware of the history to know how to fix it moving forward. And most of the time, it's our own agencies thinking they're doing what's best for the world when they're the ones causing the problems. What a shocker. The deep state, the elites, man, they think they have all this control. We'll see you back on the radio tomorrow. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason, along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.